Another 25NL Zoom on Pokerstars here. Welcome to a new Play and Explain episode. After last week's session that went quite well, I'll see what we can do today here. So 10-9 suited here, I will fold, even though this is a player that I've tagged as red, so I would like to play against him, but cold calling there in the cutoff is not a great idea if you have fairly aggressive players behind you. So I had to fold that one. I've said it before, but I tend to play GTO pre-flop ranges. I will deviate from them a little bit, but not a lot, and definitely not in earlier positions. But I will sometimes 3-bet light if I see that a player has a high fold to 3-bet percentage. So obviously pocket jacks we will 3-bet against any open. And here the open comes. Standard size here is about 12.5, which we are going to do. And we get our first pot of the day, which PokerStars announces by giving us the free spin on the spin and go. Do you guys use that if you play on PokerStars? I try to, but I kind of hardly feel it's worth it. But let me know in the comments what you think, if you actually like the promotion that PokerStars have. I think it's a good way of getting free rolls, but for a cash game player like me, it's almost a bit distracting. Here, this is annoying. There was a snap 3-bet here, and this is a very tight player, so I will obviously have to fold queen jack. I was just going to say, against that tight player, I might not even 3-bet queen jack suited, although normally it would be a hand that I would 3-bet out of the big blind. But there I would not have wanted to. But then once the small blind 3-bets, then it's an easy decision to fold. Jack 3 suited, we get a walk with it, hooray. Yeah, so this is another one of those sessions where we seem to have a very slow start. I think I had that last week as well. I just want to see what they had here, can't really tell. Here ace 10 off in the small blind, I will just fold. But yeah, quite a slow start here with not many playable hands. So I've played 1 out of 23 so far, I think. Here, this one we might be able to open. No, we are not able to open because there is another razor. 9-7 suited would be an open on the button. And yes, we do indeed get to open it once we got down to 4-4 here on our stats. Well, it's good for the image. We seem like an absolute nit, but of course in a Zoom pool that is not a big thing. Here we don't have a lot going for us, which is why I am happy to see bet this one quite big and probably giving up if called or check raised. Check raised we are getting indeed, and just want to check what stats he has for check raising. 0 out of 10, so the first time, I mean, not that I would have continued here either way, but just wanted to see. Ace 10 is a defend here against this player. Jack 7 7. So if you see bets, this is a close one. We could just fold here, but we have ace high and we might actually be good. And at this point, if he bets again, we're out. And now we can't really get much better to fold. And so I will just check and take a showdown here. Yeah, pocket eights, we would never have gotten him to fold that. So that was okay. And as I said, it was a very close one on the flop. Because he made it so small, I didn't mind betting, or calling the bet, sorry, but I still think might have been even a tiny, tiny bit negative equity there. Negative EV, I should say. Here, king, queen, queen. I will go for the c-bet because we do have the open-ended straight draw. And here, I think I'm gonna go with the overbet on this board now, because if I had a queen, this is what I would do. And I think we can get hands to fold here, even ace-x of diamonds, or something like pocket 8, 7, 6s, and so on. So it's good to be double barreling, and if you double barrel on that board, I think we should go big, because this is a board where I'm very, very polarized. I would probably not even bet ace-king there again, or at least not for the big size. So I'm basically saying I've got a queen or better. Here, this is closer than it looks, because we only have ace-8 and he made it quite big, but I will still call there. He checks, so we can now check as well. Once again, we have mediocre showdown value, and he now sizes up. I have a feeling that he has a big hand, because otherwise he would have probably c-bet the flop, but I still have to call. And now when the flush comes in, I'll take my time to make him maybe check behind a better ace than mine. And if he bets again, this will be a close one. But see, his 3-bet percentage is 4%. Not that it matters here, but it shows that he's quite tight. And now he c-bets small on the... Sorry, he c-bets 3 out of 3, and now he didn't c-bet. And then he bet the turn when the ace came. And now he's betting again, which is really weird. Why would he bet so big here? Like, I kind of feel that he has pocket kings, but would he even bet ace queen or ace jack here? So he's really wrapping very thinly, which is... I still think that I'll probably lose, but I will call this one. And yes, he does have the ace queen, which was a bit of a mistake, because obviously we're chopping. And I didn't think that he would bet that big with such a hand. But maybe he was trying to get me to fold. But it just didn't make sense, because I thought the way he played it, maybe he slow played pocket kings. But then that's pretty much the only hand that I could see him play like that, like for value. Or maybe like slow played quad fives or so. Because I just don't think he would play a flush like that, and then I didn't think that he would bet an ace when the flush came in, someone who is that tight. So yeah, that's why I was actually hoping that he would just check an ace behind, because then I wouldn't have had to make this tough decision there to call a pretty considerate, like big size bet on the river. Anyway, it's been an okay start so far. And now, because it makes it so small, 2.5x, we have position, so I will call this. It's not a massively winning play, but I will definitely call. Let's see what it says here. Overbet a river as a bluff. He hasn't c-bet much, but we have second pair. Definitely gonna call. Now he snap checks, and we obviously can't bet. So if he bets again now, which it doesn't, and there is no point in going for value here, absolutely not. So we do win against ace-3. I was just gonna say, if he had bet the river, I would probably have called because it's small blind against big blind. He has a huge range there, and he didn't filter at all. So he c-bet the flop, but I just called. Then he has his entire pre-flop range on the turn and also going into the river. And so he doesn't really wrap a lot of value with that line. So I would definitely have called there, even though I would have lost to a jack. But that would have been a winning call if he had bluffed, especially because I have here in the notes that he overbet the river as a bluff in a 3-bet pot, so I know that he is capable. But we didn't get to that. It was actually quite easy. We just got it to show down, to check down our 8, and we're good. Still haven't been able to play many hands, now in over 50. Here, I'll just fold. Queen Jack off is a borderline hand from that position. And against some aggressive players behind me, I'm just not in the mood of opening that. I will sometimes, especially if I see weaker players behind me. So weaker players, that's mainly the purple tag and also the red tag, but the red tag only has done something that's not quite something a good player would do, whereas the purple tag is normally someone who is really bad. Here, pocket fours is not a 3-betting hand, definitely not a calling hand. So you can 3-bet from 7s upwards, possibly 6s, and exploitatively I might 3-bet pocket fours if I have a player who just grossly overfolds to 3-bets. Then this becomes a positive one. Here, ace-9 against a player who has won the World Championships of Online Poker. Well, look at that. Ain't that an accolade? Here, unfortunately, we don't have much. He c-bets, as I would expect from an aggressive opponent, but because he makes it big, and I don't have even a backdoor or anything, and so I just have to fold this one. Not because he won the World Championships, but simply because I don't have a continue here. The reason why I raised 7-4 suited was because I saw that this player has not 3-bet at all, 0 out of 13, and the small blind was a very tight player. Not like this one here. This is a fairly aggressive player in the big blind, which made me fold 9-6 off very easily. But opening the 7-4 suited there was just about positive EV. I don't expect it to be massively winning, but it is winning a bit if you play against tight players who are likely not to 3-bet you. Then you can open 7-4 suited. Here, this is another one of those. I hate it when they make it 3x on the button. I will just fold this time. Last time I had ace-8 and I called. Now ace-7, I folded. I think these are just so borderline. Not that ace-8 is so much better than ace-7. So here, tempted to just flat call, but I will raise with ace-queen off here, because I just expect him to be pretty aggressive. If someone wins the World Championships of Online Poker, I think that they are more on the aggressive side. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but either way, I'm okay here. I won. the hand, and that was fine. 7-6 suited will be an open on the button if we get to that. It will not be a continue though. Queen 7 suited. So this will be a continue now against the raise on the button. Assuming our friend in the small blind folds, which he does. So we can just call here. And on this board, I will probably continue if you see bet small, which it doesn't. Can we go for a bluff here? I don't think so. If he has an ace, he probably won't fold. If he has, well, the thing is, under pairs are counterfeit, but he would probably still have bet there. I'm expecting to lose this. I just don't think I can fold a lot. And yeah, I would not have been able to fold the ace, so was on that board you can't do much. If he had c-bet the flop, I might have check raised, or if not check raised, I would have check called, and then I would have had a river bet, although even then he might have called with the ace there. But then I could have made it quite big. I could have gone 2x or something like that, or even 3x with, if I have the, because I definitely have the range advantage at that point once I call. But he played it very passively, and that worked out well for him. 10-3 suited. This is a hand that I could in theory 3-bet bluff with, but against a player who doesn't fold to 3-bets as much as he probably should, I have to fold. So it would be nice to have a few more interesting playable hands, and as the doctor ordered, ace king offsuit. If I would like to get it all in against this player, maybe. Yeah, this is actually not what I like, because this is a very tight player, but I have to still go for the 4-bet here with ace king off, as he doesn't do this exclusively with aces and kings, and as we see, he probably had some sort of a bluff, so we managed to win this one. Ace 5 suited in the big blind. Here he will get the tag as a non-crusher. Our friend from Romania. He limps as well. I mean, there is the scope in raising. I'll just play this one passively, and I will not bet this. I think we could bet it, but I'm happy not to. And he bets a big blind now, definitely calling, nothing else to do. We pick up some more equity now with a gut shot. If he bets again, I will have to call, obviously, but it's getting a bit grimmer. That said, if you bet so small, I will call again. And here I will just check call once again, unless he makes it massive. He makes it massive. Look at this. He makes it 73 big blinds. 10x. Does he have that out of the GTO playbook? I think that's a thing in GTO, although limping definitely isn't. I mean, I'm definitely not going to call here with my bluff catcher, but that is actually funny. Bet 10x on river. Here, this we could, let's just bump it up to 6 big blinds. This is a bit thin against the low jack raise, but especially because it's an unknown. This guy now calls the 3-bet, and here I think at this point I will just check against 2 players, and because I knew that we would hit our set, which is actually a boat now. And at this point, I'm happy to just check, to just call, sorry. And I'll take my time here, but I think he has something like jacks or queens or so. Well, I just said jacks or queens. If he does have jacks now, that is a very bad card. It's pretty much the worst card that I could have imagined. A jack, a queen, a 10 would be pretty bad. Now he checks, and now I can go for value. Now, if he has a 10, tens, queens with a 10, will he? I mean, I'll have to try, and I will go. Can I go really big here? Can I? I don't think I can overbet this one because his range is quite capped, and if it's not capped, then he has a boat here with jacks. But if he has a hand like tens, even queens, he might find a fold. With tens, he will most likely find a fold. And unfortunately, he finds a fold with whatever he had there. Yeah, so I don't know. Should I have gone for more value? I mean, obviously, this doesn't matter because he folded even to the smaller bet, and I doubt that he would have called a bigger one. So here you'll see me do something unconventional. I'm actually going to size down a little bit. So because this guy has a fold to 3 bets of 86%, 6 out of 7, I will 3 bet ace 10 off here, and I also size down. Normally I would have gone 11, but in this case I just went to 10, and now we do get punished for that with the 4 bet, which he hasn't done yet, 0 out of 7. So definitely not continuing. We probably ran into the top of his range, or he decided to just bluff this time, which is of course possible. But I still think it was a good 3 bet that we attempted there. Here, this guy, well, I will just fold my king 7 suited. I don't really know him. Could have gone for the 3 bet again, but he's an unknown, and I've had my share of light 3 bets now. One worked, one didn't. Doesn't mean I won't do it again. Here, I would have considered calling actually with this guy potentially. Well, he is such a weak player. I will call this. This is definitely not standard, but playing pots against this guy is actually something I would like. If I see 50-13, even though only 8 hands. Is there scope on trying to bluff this one? Don't think so against 2 players, and now we do have to fold. Yeah, so calling there with king 3 suited, especially overcalling, is not something I would normally recommend, and it's not something I do very often. However, if a player does that or has the stats that he had. Sorry, I'm just a bit distracted here because I'm going to 3-bet my pocket queens, obviously. So yeah, if someone doesn't start the hand with a full stack, has stats of 50-13, then I think that is definitely continue. Here, 4-bet range queens, kings, and ace king of this guy. I expect that, but I don't want to just fold here, so I will continue, but I'm not super happy about this situation. He will probably see bet this one here now, I would guess. And he goes really big, which is like really annoying. But I will have to. I mean, GTO will just jam here, but the thing is, if I jam, I only get called by aces and kings, and so I will just call. Yeah, this doesn't make it any easier now. And he just jams. I just don't think I'm good here. I don't think this player does this with ace king. Ace king of just one club, but even that, I just highly doubt. The question is, we're getting better than 2-1, so we need around 30% or so. We're getting 18. Yeah, I will just fold my queens here. This is just such a tight player. I've not seen him get out of line at all. And I just made an exploitative fold there. Also, we were quite deep. But him 4-betting, I just doubt that he did that with anything else than kings, aces, or ace king. And then would he take that line with ace king and just the ace or the king of clubs? It's possible, but I still don't think he would. I think that looked like aces and kings, and maybe it was a mistake. I will have to analyze the hand. Here, similar situation to earlier. Don't really want to do much against the 3 big blind raise, but yeah, I do want to review the hand with the queens there. Yeah, the question is only how much does he do that with ace king? Because if he does it with aces or kings, well, but even then, I was going to say then we have 18% to improve to a flush. However, that's not quite correct, because if he does it with aces and kings, you can still have the ace or the king of clubs. And the question is even if he would jam without having that. So I think either way, the fold there, my fold on the river, was not a mistake. Okay, here. Oh, look at this. This is annoying, but I have, against these players, I have to call this min click here. I mean, this guy doesn't seem to be the biggest crusher in the pool. And I bets another 1 big blind, but I have to fold. We're not having absolutely anything. Ten-4 suited, not super playable, but let's see. Definitely not against a low jack raise. Didn't mean to do that. Ace-9 suited, definitely an open. And we just get folds all around. Queen 9 off will be a raise here against this super tight short stack. Yeah, so once again, we were actually doing really well, and then we had this one big 4-bet pot with queens where we lost a big chunk of our stack, but at least we didn't get stacked. And I think against pool here, but especially against that specific player, I am very happy with a fold. Even though I keep rambling on about it, it's just because I'm still thinking about the hand, but I will have to let it go now and concentrate on these other hands here. Pocket sixes. And no action. Not too unhappy about that. Ace Jack suited now. Come on. Yeah. He raises, and we can go either way here. Oh, this time I'm going to 3-bet. And we just win. Yeah, I think I'm okay with my 3-bet percentage. Just want to check where it is. 11% over 127 hands. That's okay. I aim for double digits usually, so somewhere between 11 and 14. Oops, misclicking again here. Pocket threes I will open here. It's only an optional one, which means that it's not massively winning. But if everyone folds, then we do win with it. Ace queen off. So against the 3x, oof, I do not like this. So we had a tight razor here, and we have a snap 3-bet here. I will just fold this one. You can go for a bluff 4-bet, but don't expect it to be super profitable. I don't even know if it is profitable in theory. And as we said, we had a guy who opened to 3 big blinds who is very tight, just 15-5. I forgot to check what the sample size was, but either way, he shapes up to be quite tight. And then we have a snaps 3-bet from a reg in the small blind. So I think ace queen is just not profitable as a 4-bet in that spot. Definitely never calling the 3-bet. I never cold call 3-bets unless it's a very specific circumstance. Like sometimes if a fish makes it just like 2x or something like that, just min clicking or something silly like that. But other than that, I will never cold call 3-bets. Come on. Get going. We can't fast fold if we're in the big blind, sadly. And here I will raise this one. It's a raise in theory anyway, and in practice even more because the big blind has a 3-bet percentage of 2%, even though the small blind had one of 16%, but we got it through this time. So yeah, our red line would be quite good, except that it isn't because of that one big 4-bet pot that I folded. Could have protected the red line by calling the shove there, but I don't think that's the way to win in poker. And I am talking about that hand again. It really seems to be stuck in my my subconscious. Here I'm going to raise, even though this guy doesn't like to fold to 3-bets. And now we get punished again by getting 4-bet here. Don't think this is a light 4-bet on the button against a hijack raise and cut off 3-bet. And look at this. There's a 4-bet, and I just want to watch the spectacle now for a moment because we can easily fold and just watch what these guys are doing. Obviously, I would never have continued here. And he jams and he calls, and we get kings versus ace king. So yeah, my king 10 would have been pretty dead. So yeah, but there was never a question of me calling that cold 4-bet anyway, because Most likely a cold 4-bet in this pool means aces or kings or ace-king, sometimes queens. And against all of these hands, king 10 suited is not super playable and definitely not super profitable. Yeah, so we're gonna play for another 10 minutes or so and hopefully picking up some more hands. Again, only 18, 13, and I promise you guys, this is not my normal PFR and VPIP. I'm closer to about 24, 19 or maybe 22, 19, something like that. But today I just haven't really been dealt the cards to do so. And here we are getting 3-bet by a player who seems to be quite laggy. I would love to 4-bet him here because I do a hand that I could do it with, but not if he has a stack of 54 or 64 before starting the hand. So unfortunately I have to fold simply because of his stack size. But against such a player, if you're wondering how to beat him, well, you have to fold a lot of stuff against his big 3-bet. But then if you do have a good hand, you can just either slow play it or re-raise him there. And here we have, is this the same guy again? I think it might be. Let me just check, was it this guy? Yes, it is Bruno. So I will just call here. Though maybe 3-bet wouldn't have been too bad. This is weird now from an aggressive player. On the other hand, he's only c-bet a bit. We have the nut, no pair. So I would have considered calling, but with this line, if he checks flop and then pots it on the turn, I think I'll just have to fold. Pot-sized bets from recreational players are usually quite strong. At least that's what mass data suggests. So I had to fold there. But as long as we can steal the blinds, the world is still okay. King 7 off. Well, would have considered potentially raising if it had been an unopened pot, but it definitely wasn't. So I had to fold. Ace 3 off. That's kind of borderline. But again, we don't even get to open it. Ace 9 off. Not in this position. I would have opened it in the cutoff, but not in the hijack. But now we do have ace queen suited. And we get 3-bet. Another snap. This is the guy who snapped 3-bet earlier there. I will just call this one here now. I could, of course, 4-bet, but I will go for this. And we flop top 2 pair, which is pretty good. And he now checks, which is something I don't like, but I will check once again here and giving him a chance to now maybe c-bet a hand like ace 5 or something like that, because now I've said that I really don't have much. And this really is a terrible, terrible, terrible river. And I was definitely gonna overbet, but the problem now is that we lose against the jack and we lose against king queen. Yeah, that's the problem, you see. We flopped the world, we slow played it, and now we get punished for it. Because the issue here is now that, yeah, we just, I mean, if I kind of thought he had maybe pocket kings, but if he might have queen jack, he might have even been slow playing king jack. And what do I beat if I call now? I beat a bluff, yeah, but my hand has been demoted to a bluff catcher. Especially we made it quite big here. We made it 3/4. I just don't see what we beat here unless it's something like I turn the hand like 9/8 or so into a bluff here, which she didn't do on the flop. So definitely having to fold here. This one was very, very annoying. But I mean, basically on any other river, this would have been pretty good for us. But it was really just the king that absolutely messed it up. The jack would have been equally bad. But yeah, I think like there is nothing that we beat at that point, unfortunately. I thought we could still kind of get value from maybe a hand like king queen or some ace 5 for example, or ace 4 or so that just went for 2 checks. So I thought we could extract value, although maybe even that was a bit optimistic, but I would normally have over a bet. Let me just think here. We don't need that much protection, so I'm happy to just check. And he bets really big, which I don't know what to make of it, but I will still have to call here, obviously. The queen. Not great. And now on this, let me think what we can do here. So, is there any merit? I don't think we will ever get called by anything weaker if we block this one. So I definitely have to check. And I will most likely fold to a bet here. But he makes it so small, which means that he probably has something here. Now, I'm getting such good odds that just on the off chance that this is some silliness and I'm running out of time, so I have to call. But yeah, he had the flush there. Well, yeah, that was annoying, but he just made it so small. I don't know why he made it so small. But he got max value, I guess, because anything bigger I would have folded. But I've had this a few times recently where I just got such good odds that I just couldn't fold. And so I decided to call there. Here, obviously have to fold this. Yeah, so not a very good session. We didn't get dealt many good hands. And I had some annoying runouts, which makes me look like I'm not a winning player, but because I know I've had a few of these recently. Here the a6 is kind of borderline, but because I've not played many hands, I will raise, and this is just really not great. I am going to c-bet very small on this one, because I might just fold out something, but it's not happening. And now I will turn this into a bluff here, because he could have called with all sorts of stuff, and you see he snap folded now. So I would have given up then on the river probably, but I can convincingly have a king. And so I went for the double barrel there, although the first barrel was just very, very tiny. But okay, so let's say we'll make this our last orbit. And here, this guy, no point in 3-betting with a hand like ace-9 suited. Here, not much point in betting. I mean, I guess there is some protection value there, but I think I'm okay. Now he bets big here, and unfortunately, I think against the big bet, I am well, actually no, I will call there, and he checks now. And do we need to turn this into a bluff at this point? I don't think so. I think we have some showdown value, but we do not, because he has the queen. So my first instinct would have been to fold there. I decided to call just because he has such a wide range getting to that turn. But I find that a lot of these recreational players, if they don't c-bet the flop, but then the turn, they kind of have something, some sort of either showdown value or even like really thick value that they slow play. So that was my instinct there, which is why I wanted to fold, but in the end I still called. Anyway, this is it for today. We've lost $21, which really isn't great. I think I'm okay. We didn't get many good hands, as I said, and the pocket queen's hand was an annoying one. I will have to look that one up or analyze it, but other than that, I think I didn't make many big mistakes. I did one slow play that went wrong, but that's the risk that you take with slow playing, and there was only like a 12% chance of a king or a jack or something like that coming, or let's say max 16%, so I was okay with it. But anyway, this is it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye!